The strike manages to hit the opponent's leg with tremendous force. Upon feeling the attack, the creature lets out a powerful scream of pain. Using his speed to his advantage, he moves throughout the area, confusing his enemies. Suddenly, he stops running and observes the situation. Those abominations follow the protagonist's movements and turn their bodies. Junhyuk provokes his opponents, calling them to fight. The five seem irritated by that boy's arrogance. Without wasting time, they start running toward their small target. On a street, vehicles pile up in the middle of the city traffic. A man grows increasingly angry, realizing that the vehicle wouldn't move. The street had been blocked because of the cars trying to leave, and not even the police were managing the situation. Irritated, he realizes this was a terrible time to be stuck in traffic. Suddenly, he feels a hand on his shoulder. His colleague tries to calm Dasu in every possible way. The fight happening in the city was being broadcast live. At the center of it all, Junhyuk was trying to hold off the creatures using all his skills. Filming the fight, a young man tells viewers that he was impressed by the courage of the unknown fighter. Inside the car, the men watch the broadcast on their phone attentively. At that moment, the memory of the young man comes instantly to Dasu's mind. Without wasting time, he informs that he knew the young man who was fighting completely alone. His colleague asks who that guy was, seeming very curious to know his identity. With a smile on his face, Dasu says the boy was his fan. Confused, his friend seems not to understand what he was talking about. The man explains that upon returning from Thailand, he met a fan at the association but couldn't remember his name. Meanwhile, the young man tries to stream the best moments of the fight, risking his life. He knew that if the unknown fighter died, he would be next. With his equipment, he continues reporting, showing all his professionalism in ignoring the danger to record the urgent situation. In the end, the young man asks his followers to be generous and make donations. The comments reveal the viewers' shock as they discuss frantically. One of them claimed that even Dasu would be incapable of fighting like that. Upon reading that comment, the man becomes extremely confused and bothered by the doubts about his abilities. Without wasting any time, he immediately gets out of the vehicle. Meanwhile, his friend looks worried and seems not to understand his movements. However, Dasu was determined to study people in any way. With determination on his face, nothing could stop his goals. He gets out of the car, leaving his colleague completely alone. At that moment, people begin to follow the master immediately. One of the warriors asks the man to step aside, who seems not to understand the situation. Suddenly, all the warriors were beside Dasu and ready for battle. His final order is for Zhou Huanwu to investigate who that new face was. Without knowing his name, he warns that he wouldn't get much information, but the chief remembered the identity, Kim Junhyuk. In the end, the captain wanted to know if all members were ready for battle. Their expressions reveal a determination to protect the people and the city by following the master's orders. Now, everyone could head straight into the battle together. Hearing the command, they all start running toward the fight. Like a fierce blow, one of the monsters tries to hit the warrior, but he is faster and manages to dodge with all his acquired skills. Even so, the impact causes him to fall to the ground. His face is already covered in sweat due to the intense fight. In his thoughts, he begins to pray for some kind of help since the fight was unfair. This was the best opportunity to use the super sense. In every way, he tries not to be reckless and avoids the most difficult strikes. His enemies were terrifying and completely insane, besides being powerful abominations. Junhyuk tries to run as fast as possible, but he knows that facing two monsters at once was anything but simple. He starts to slow down and stops near the creature's claws. With a roar, the monster seems to observe the best chance to attack. At that moment, the protagonist realizes that his plan worked, successfully tricking the opponent. However, he notices an unusual situation and becomes completely confused. With a surprise attack, the opponent tries to use its giant paw to trample him. Dasu arrives with his team, all ready to help as much as possible. The powerful shield protects his face as he gets closer and closer with the stun enhancement activated. Gathering all of his strength and skills, he manages to deliver a powerful blow. The creature is completely disoriented, not understanding where the strike came from. Junhyuk is amazed to see his idol sharing the same battle with him. His orders are for Kim Do-hoon and Jang Soo-jong to take care of two Karhan. Jae Hwan would be responsible for checking if there were other survivors around. Duel was assigned to heal Choi Junhyuk and stay with him until the end of the fight. While settling on the ground, the boy questions the delay of the guild master. Noticing that the boy kept chattering, Dasu realizes that he could fight against two more monsters. After being completely healed, the protagonist would have the mission to fight with a group for the defense of the city. Meanwhile, Duel spreads his powers throughout the boy's body. Instead of attracting aggro again to buy time, the best thing to do was for Junhyuk to enter tanking mode and defeat them quickly. Handing over the shield, Dasu wants to make sure the boy understands his plan. The more time was wasted, the greater the damage. From afar, they could notice another creature approaching. Now the two are ready to fight side by side. The Kargan runs toward them, increasing its speed more and more. In the underground shelters, people tried to hide from the danger. The broadcast announced that the Taebaek Guild had already arrived at the scene but hadn't managed to defeat any Karhan. Yeonjung seemed very worried while listening to that information. The employee immediately notices the little girl's fear. Calmly, Unchul asks her not to be afraid since the situation would be controlled quickly. The two continued discussing Choi Junhyuk's safety when new reports appeared. Finally, the group of hunters was able to defeat the first Karhan. Everyone in the shelter